Chapter 3. Shadows and steel glow from the dragon thing pulse like a dying star, and the air thickened with a tension that made Kel's skin crawl. The laughter wet, guttural, and way too close rolled over the plaza, shaking loose dust from the shattered spires overhead. He tightened his grip on the glowing dagger, its faint hum sensing with the adrenaline pumping through his veins. Beside him, Rin's mechanical arm whirred as she flexed her blade fingers, and Zik clutched his speaker rig like it was a shield, his grin faltering for the first time. "Drav, talk to me," Kale muttered into his comms, eyes locked on the hulking shape. "What are we dealing with?" The dragon ghost's voice crackled back, low and urgent. "It's no machine, Kale. That's a guardian old magic fused with tech, forged to protect the Starfang. And it's waking up." "Perfect," Kale said, his smirk thin as a razor. "Guess we're crashing its nap." The ground buckled, and the dragon thing reared up, rubble cascading off its massive frame. It was a nightmare stitched together from spare parts and sorcery scales of blackened steel, claws like rusted sais, and a maw glowing with a sickly green light. Its eyes snapped open, twin orbs of molten amber, and locked onto them with a hunger that made Cal's gut twist. Rin stepped forward, her red eye glinting. "All right, big guy, let's dance." She lunged, her arm blade slashing through the air, but the beast swung a claw faster than anything that size should move. She dodged, barely rolling under the strike as sparks flew from where it gouged the pavement. "Zik, do something," Kale shouted, diving to the side as a tail whip cracked the spot he'd been standing. The goblin fumbled with his rig, cranking a dial. "On it, boss." A blast of bass erupted from the speakers, a throbbing wave that hit the guardian like a punch. It staggered, roaring, and Kale seized the moment, charging in with his dagger raised. He aimed for a gap in its plating, a flickering seam near its chest where the glow was strongest, and drove the blade deep. The thing shrieked, a sound that rattled his skull, and backhanded him across the plaza. He hit the ground hard, rolling to a stop against a pile of debris, his dagger still lodged in the beast. Pain flared through his ribs, but he grinned through it, spitting dust. "Got your attention, huh?" Rin was on it again, darting between its legs, slicing at cables and joints with surgical precision. "Quit flirting with it and help me," she snapped, ducking a claw swipe that sheared off a chunk of her jacket. Zik scrambled to Cal's side, dragging his rig. "Dude, that thing's ticked." "My beats can't hold it forever, gimme a plan." Kale hauled himself up, wincing. "Plan simple. We crack its chest, grab the Starfang, and run before it turns us into paste." He glanced at the guardian, its thrashing growing wilder as Rin carved into it. The dagger's glow pulsed brighter, like a beacon in its core. "Dravenar, are you still with me?" he asked, tapping his comms. "Always," the dragon rumbled. "That blade's tied to me, use it. Strike the heart." Kale nodded, snagging Zik by the collar. "Boost me up short stack, Rin, keep it busy." Zik yelped but obeyed, rigging a quick pulse from his speakers to launch Kale into the air. He soared, boots skimming the guardian's thrashing tail, and landed hard on its back. The metal was hot, slick with some kind of ooze, but he clomb on, scrambling toward the dagger. Rin darted below, drawing its attention with a flurry of strikes, her curses echoing over the chaos. "Come on, you overgrown junk heap," she taunted, dodging a stomp that cratered the ground. Kale reached the dagger, wrapping both hands around its hilt. "Here's your wake-up call," he growled, and yanked it free, plunging it back in with all his weight. The guardian convulsed, a wave of green light exploding from its chest, and Kale glimpsed it a sword, long and jagged, embedded in a crystalline core, the Starfang. He grabbed it, the hilt searing his palm with a cold that burned, and leapt clear as the beast collapsed, its roar fading into a dying whine. He hit the ground rolling, Starfang in hand, and came up grinning as Rin and Zik ran over. "Holy Sparks, you did it!" Zik crowed, pumping a fist. That was epic. Rin eyed the blade, her smirk returning. Not bad, Knight. Guess you're not totally useless. Kale hefted the starfang, its edge shimmering with an unnatural sheen. Yeah, well, don't get mushy. We've got company. The shadows around the plaza shifted, and a new sound rose, chanting, low and rhythmic, like a prayer from a throat that didn't breathe. Figures emerged, cloaked in tattered robes, their faces hidden behind blank, featureless masks. Dozens of them, closing in slow and deliberate, their hands clutching weapons that hummed with a sickly purple glow. Cultists, Rin muttered, flexing her arm. Knew this was too easy. Zik groaned, slinging his rig back on. Oh man, I just got the base dialed in. Kale spun the starfang, its weight feeling alive in his grip. Round 2 then. Drav, any advice? Kill them all, the dragon snarled. They're here for my blade. Works for me, Kale said, stepping forward as the cultists tightened their circle. Let's make it quick, I've got a drink waiting.